first topic of the day, and here I want to give a massive shout out to one of you in the comments. I'm sorry I don't have the comments in front of me, but I did reply to you. And by the way, guys, when I reply, or when Mythic Banter, the official channel, replies to you here, it's me.
That's him.
It's always me, right? Rurikon replies on his personal channel. So,
usually.
but we do read all of the comments. We just don't always reply to all of them. But one of you I wouldn't say you were upset, but you did ask, why did you guys are you guys gonna talk about Subnautica 2 drama? This was last week already. And somehow in the breadth of all of the news, myself and Rurikon completely missed the Subnautica 2 drama. Not missed in terms of didn't know it was happening, but we just didn't put it in the list. It didn't go on the list.
The thing is that I don't even play Subnautica. It's not really my kind of game, so it's like, it kind of like passes me by usually.
Yeah, but okay, so this story is actually wild, and just another example of what I would argue. So, to give you guys a little bit of backstory here, the last few weeks, I've been doing a lot of reading on economics, and I realize a lot of people's eyes are glazing over at this point. Like, dude, we don't care. But I find economics super interesting, right? So, capitalism is a big word, right? That people just sort of throw around without necessarily knowing what it even means. But capitalism isn't just like when someone tells you this is a capitalist society, the first question you have to ask is, what do you mean? Like, what kind of capitalism are you referring to? Because you have classic economics, right, which is the Adam Smith version of capitalism. Then you have a bunch of smaller sort of variations of classic economics. I'm not going to get into all of their names because it gets really technical, but each of them kind of changes something. Then you have a thing called margin capitalism, right? So this is the version that we are in today, margin. This means that profit is added at the margins, right? So, or people make decisions at the margins, so to speak. And so value is entirely subjective. Value exists as a subject. There's no real value. Adam Smith, on the other hand, classic economics, believed that value is derived from labor because people are offering their time in order to make a product that creates the value of the product. So the longer a product takes to make, or the more intense a product is to make, the more expensive it will ultimately be. The quicker it is to make, the cheaper it'll be, right? The margin guys came around and said, no, this is all subjective stuff, right? There is really no such thing as actual value. Value is whatever the user is willing to pay for the thing. So you can charge pretty much whatever you want. Now, that is the sort of broad scope. The problem with the margin guys, apart from the backwards thinking on a lot of other stuff, but their biggest problem is that their economic model makes no attempt at trying to stop monopolies, whereas classic economics does not allow for monopolies. It makes the state officially the one to break up monopolies before they even start. And this story, I gave you this preamble because this story very much is that. We have within the gaming industry a number of really large corporations like Embracer Group and Microsoft. And slowly but surely, all of these giant publishers are just purchasing up these smaller little studios and bringing them under their umbrella, their ecosystem, if you will. And Microsoft is fundamentally currently building an ecosystem. Game Pass is part of the Microsoft ecosystem.
It's kind of like that free-to-play game that we had a while ago where you're just like one blob that's like soaking up all the little smaller blobs. That's kind of like what the gaming industry is right now. It's just a bunch of big blobs soaking up all the smaller ones.
Literally the same thing, right? And the whole thing that Microsoft is actually playing at, as I was reading about these economic systems, I was immediately like, oh crap, wait, this is like Google. Take Google, for example. That's an ecosystem. You can use any other email system than Gmail. The problem is Gmail is connected to all of the other Google services. So if you're using a different email, you're no longer connected to all of the other services. You don't have to use YouTube, but then you're stuck with Rumble, and that's not great, right? So you're sort of you're either in this ecosystem or you're losing out. And this is what Microsoft is doing with something like Game Pass. They're building this little ecosystem of theirs to try and get people into Game Pass, and then most likely connect. They're already working on connecting their AI Copilot to games, with Copilot being able to tell you in games how to do certain things and stuff, right? So that's how they get that part of their business into the ecosystem. Then they're going to connect it to Bing, because they couldn't come up after how many years with a better name for their bloody server or for their search engine than Bing. Like, who gives a shit?
Bing.
But anyways, right? So you have Bing that they're going to incorporate, because they want to trap you inside their ecosystem. Because once you're in there, they can increase the price, they can do whatever they want, they can manipulate it however they want, because you now are the product, and they can milk you for whatever they want. So this is sort of where we are now. One of these companies is a company called Crafton. Now, Crafton isn't quite as big as Microsoft, but they're also one that goes around and buys stuff. And a while back, they bought a studio called Unknown Worlds Entertainment. These are the creators of Subnautica. Subnautica is a phenomenal game, although too scary for me to play. Every single time I try and play it, I sort of feel like I'm getting a panic attack, because it plays into multiple fears of mine. One is horror. I don't like horror. I don't like jump scares, and it does have that. But then
and I'm assuming another one's going to be claustrophobia.
Dude, I'm not claustrophobic, but here's what I am. I have a very deep fear of the deep blue sea, right? Like, I don't like when I can't see around me.
There's some nasty creatures down there on the deep blue, yeah.
And in Subnautica, there's really nasty shit. And the problem is you can't see what's behind you. So when you're being chased, you're just going and sort of hoping, because when you try and turn around, you go that direction. So you can't turn around. You're just going and hoping that you're getting away from this thing. So I'm not a fan of Subnautica, although it is super fun. The times I've played it, when I can stomach it, it is super fun. I just don't like it. It triggers so many of my fears that it's not. It's funnily enough not in real life. In real life, I don't mind the dark. I never get scared in real life, but in games, for some reason, I get tense. But okay, so when
we can fix that. I come after you with a shotgun. You'll feel scared.
Do I have a shotgun?
No.
Yeah, well, of course, because that's gonna hurt. But okay, so Crafton acquires Unknown Worlds Entertainment in 2021 with a promise that they will not interfere in development. This was part of the agreement, as well as a revenue share. So what happens? Crafton continuously interferes with Subnautica 2's development cycle and continuously postpones the launch of Subnautica 2. And then, when Crafton can finally no longer sort of postpone the launch.
Wait.
Yeah.
You didn't mention the bonus yet, I don't think.
I'm getting to
Did you?
I'm getting to that,
okay.
Right? Because there's also a revenue share bonus that's added to this deal. And that's why they were continuously postponing the launch of Subnautica 2. They didn't want this revenue share to go through. And then when it finally turned out that Subnautica can't actually be delayed anymore, it has to come out now, they decide to fire the co-founders, Charlie Cleveland, Max McGuire, and CEO Todd Joel, so that they don't have to pay the $250 million profit bonus that they would have had to pay, because Subnautica 2 was already off the hook. People were going to buy the crap out of that game. And now they're being sued. This is a pretty nasty lawsuit.
It's so insane to me. Like, how do some of these people in these companies operate that they keep passing checks that they can't cash? It's the weirdest thing to me. It's like, how are you going to enter a business relationship with somebody and then you're just like, oh, by the way, I'm going to pay you this amount of money if you complete this thing, and the other person goes like, oh, great, I'm going to go and complete this thing, and then you're like, wait, I don't actually have that amount of money. So now let me sabotage this business venture that I'm in together with this other person so that I don't have to pay them this kind of money and try to dick them up. It's like, bro, we don't have to be this level of corporate that we're dicking each other out at any given moment. It's absolutely asinine, dude.
No. But that's exactly the problem, right? It's because the current economic system that we are under, this marginal, fictional system, basically creates the incentive for companies to go around and just form these monopolies. And at that point, when profit or value lies at the margin, the only goal is to increase profits as much as possible, right? There is no other goal within that system. And that effectively is where we are in the current system. Now, the Subnautica 2 guys, the Crafton guys did hit back, and they said no. We fired them because they were neglecting their personal duties. But then Cleveland, for example, fired back and said, wait. You guys asked me to make a Subnautica movie, which is what I was working on for you. And now you're firing me? Like, holy shit. Because I wasn't working on the game because you said work on the movie instead. So it's a big story. We'll see how this plays out because Crafton has their own version of events, right?
I mean, of course, there's always two sides to a story.
Yeah. They said, so Crafton says that the CEOs or the founders abandoned their responsibilities. They're causing delays in leaving Subnautica 2, content light, so they believe that there wasn't enough content in the game, and that's why they continuously sort of pushed back. I recognize that, and myself, I want to immediately believe that Crafton is the evil villain here, right? Because
yeah, we all do.
We don't like corporations.
We don't like corporations, yeah.
No, because and it's their own fault. If they were just not pieces of shit, people wouldn't hate them that much, right?
At any given opportunity to be a scumbag, if you didn't always pick the be a scumbag option, like if life is an RPG, like a Mass Effect RPG, you guys are going renegade on every single choice you can. You have to go Paragon at some point, okay? Because if you're just going to be renegade all the time, people are not going to want to deal with you.
Yeah, that's the big issue, right? Like even when there's like a prompt in the middle of a thing where you have to click a button to do the renegade thing, you guys never miss. Like you're just always punching people in the face for no reason. I'm immediately reminded of Mass Effect. When the reporter asked me some uncomfortable questions, I punched the shit out of her. Because that's what that is, you know? But fundamentally, this is where we are. We'll see what the story develops into, and we'll keep you guys up to date as soon as more stuff happens.